What's up, everyone? This is the Next Day Podcast, episode 212, with Mikel and
Tanyka.
where we have conversations on different topics. So, today's episode, we're doing the last episode of our Prime Month special. We have done 8 episodes in the past, so if you guys want to check that out, Tanyka here will be doing a recap on those 8 episodes and also give you the the name of this episode as well. Tanyka?
Yep. So our first one, we did celebrity activists in the AIDS epidemic, as well as celebrities living with it. That was the first one. And the second was gay rights movement. The third was the real story behind the movie Philadelphia. The fourth was the upstairs lounge arson. The fifth, Fire Island. Sixth was the first ever gay pride parade.
Uh-huh.
I'm lost myself here. Seventh,
Oh,
I
it's
know
okay.
we did, the Pulse nightclub. And then the last one we did was the Fox Hollow murders.
Mm,
And they're ending it off with, I think, a really fun one.
mhm.
Um, and we're gonna be talking about George Michael today, who I
Okay.
love and absolutely adore. So that's who we're gonna be talking about.
Alright. Okay.
I'm real excited about this one because, listen, I think I have a thing for celebrities with
Mhm.
Michael in their name, but
Hmm.
I've always been a huge fan of George Michael. He, I can't, he's captured my heart,
Yeah.
and I'm real excited to talk about him. Now,
No, okay. Okay.
before we head into the amazing life that George Michael led
Mhm.
before he was very much taken away from us at a young age. Um, Mikhail, do you know any songs of George Michael? Wham, solo, I don't care. Do you know any songs? Have you heard any
I
songs?
have never heard of this guy or never yeah.
Are you
Probably if I
serious?
heard a song, probably if I heard a song,
Okay, what about
probably
"Wake Me Up Before You Go Go"?
I probably
It's a
heard
popular
that
one.
song. Yeah, probably heard that song somewhere, yeah.
He does "Last Christmas."
Is that "Wake Me Up Before You
Before you go, yep,
Go"?
that's
Yeah,
that's
oh, okay.
him, that's
Alright,
Wham,
alright, okay.
that's
Yeah.
Wham. Um, that okay, I'll give you that because that's one of the
Yeah.
more popular Wham songs, one of them,
Yeah.
not the only one.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
I just don't know who he is. It's just I just heard I probably heard the songs. That's
yeah,
probably it.
you probably heard the songs and, he's, 'cause you gotta have faith, gotta have oh, okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna get
Yeah, yeah,
into
yeah.
it,
Yeah, yeah.
and Mikhail, anyways, will be learning something new today. So,
Okay. Alright.
alright,
Sounds good.
so George Michael,
Mhm.
whose actual name I'm gonna struggle with because I don't know if he was Greek, but I think
Mhm.
he was, and this name's very Greek. So Georgios Kyriakos Panay Panato I'm sorry, that's
Uh-huh.
hard, but we're gonna refer to him as George Michael moving forward.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He was born on June 25th, 1963, and was an English singer-songwriter and record producer.
Mm, mm.
Regarded as a pop culture icon, he is one of the best-selling recording artists of all time. George was known as a creative force in songwriting, vocal performance, and visual presentation.
Uh-huh.
He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2023. Um, so in case if you are a George Michael fan and you remember where you were when you found out that he died, you know that this was after he died. He was
Huh.
inducted to the Hall of
Uh-huh.
Fame.
Uh,
But
okay.
we'll let it go.
Alright.
No, we won't. But anyways, born in East Finchley, Middlesex, Michael rose to fame after forming the pop duo Wham with Andrew Ridgeley in
Uh,
1981. He took part in Band Aid's UK #1 single, Do They Know It's Christmas? That is my favorite Christmas song of all
uh,
in 1984 and performed at the following year's Live Aid concert.
uh-huh,
His debut studio album, Faith, that's his debut solo,
uh-huh,
which was in 1987, won the Grammy Award for Album of the Year and became one of the best-selling albums of all time, having sold over 25 million copies worldwide.
huh,
Um, George then went on to release a series of multi-million selling albums, including Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1 in 1990,
uh-huh,
Older in 1996, Ladies and Gentlemen, The Best of George Michael 1998, Songs from the Last Century 1999, Patience 2004, and 25 in 2006.
huh,
Um, he came out as gay in 1998 and was an active LGBTQ rights campaigner and HIV/AIDS charity fundraiser.
huh,
Now, what I need to say here is they say he came out. We'll get into it, but he was essentially forced out of the closet. We will get to it.
uh-huh,
But I do know that the other half of the Wham duo, if anyone watched the documentary that came out on Netflix,
uh-huh,
I believe it was last year,
uh-huh,
um, he talks about the fact that, maybe not to the public, he wasn't outright in saying he was gay, but he kind of obviously confided in him that he was. Um, so we'll kind of get into it because there's a lot of back and forth as to what he identified as, like his journey through that personally, but not outwardly. So we'll get into it. But anyways, his
uh-huh,
personal life, drug use, and
uh-huh,
legal troubles made headlines following an
uh-huh,
arrest for public lewdness in 1998 and multiple drug-related offenses. We will get to the public lewdness.
uh-huh,
Um, the 2005 documentary, A Different Story, covered his career and personal life. His 25 live tour spanned 3 tours from 2006 to 2008. In 2011, he fell into a coma after developing pneumonia, but he did recover. He performed his final concert at London's Earl's Court in 2012. He would then die of heart disease on Christmas Day in 2016 at his home in Goring-on-Thames, Oxfordshire. Now, when he died, because I remember seeing the announcement that night coming home after being with family that year and seeing that he had died, like, earlier that day, or I guess technically in UK world, that would have been the day prior. But, it shocked me. It really did because I think he was only in his late 50s. He was young, and it was shocking. It like, that's kind of a situation kinda like with Michael Jackson or Prince. I remember where I was and what I was doing when both of them died. It the same stood for George Michael. I remember where I was when he died, and 2016 was a rough year for celebrity deaths. Prince
uh-huh,
had died that year too. Alan Rickman had died earlier that year, and it was a rough year for celebrity deaths, and he,
yeah,
like, essentially capped it off. Like, he bookended it. It was it was a
yeah,
bad year. Anyways, he achieved 10 #1 songs on the US Billboard Hot 100 and
uh-huh,
13 #1 songs on the UK singles chart. His most successful singles include try not to sing, guys, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try not to. Okay. Careless Whisper, A Different Corner, I Knew You Were Waiting. Ooh, trying not to sing. Okay. Knew You Were Waiting for Me,
uh-huh,
Faith, my favorite, Father Figure, One More Try, Monkey, Praying for Time,
uh-huh,
Freedom, which I don't know. I always assume that freedom is like his way of kind of saying, "This is who I am, and I'm free to be this," and I love that song.
Hmm.
Anyways,
Yeah.
Jesus to a Child, Fast Love, Outside, Amazing, another one of my favorites, and An Easier Affair. His awards include 2 Grammy Awards, 3 Brit Awards, 12 Billboard Music Awards, and 4 MTV Video Music Awards. He was listed among Rolling Stone's 200 Greatest Singers of All Time and Billboard's Greatest Hot 100 Artists of All Time. The Radio Academy named him the most played artist on British radio during the period of 1984 and 2004, so 20 years.
Mm.
Okay, so let's jump into his early life. I am not going to say his birth name again because yoicks. But what I will
Hmm.
say is Georgios. I can say that. That's easy. So he was born in, as I said, East Finchley. He was the only son and the youngest child of three. His father, who I'm going to refer to as Jack because I am not going to try and say his name, but I'll say this: George's middle name is his father's first name. So Kyriakos, was a Greek, I think it's cryptoid
Mhm.
restaurateur who
Mhm.
immigrated from Patriki, Cyprus to England in the 1950s. His mother, Leslie Ann Gold, who was actually, well, her maiden name Harrison, was an English dancer.
Mm.
In June 2008, Michael, told the Los Angeles Times that his maternal grandmother was Jewish, but
Mm.
she had married a non-Jewish man and raised their children with no knowledge of their Jewish background due to her fear during World War II.
Huh.
I do not blame her.
Yeah.
It's sad, but I don't blame her.
Yeah, it is.
George spent most of his childhood in Kingsbury, London, in the home his parents bought soon after his birth. He attended Row Green Junior School and Kingsbury High School. Michael had two sisters,
Mhm.
Yodoa, who was born in 1958, and Melanie, who was born in 1960 and died in 2019, so 3 years after him. On BBC's Desert Island Discs, Michael said that his interest in music followed an injury to his head around the age of 8. See, that's interesting. Usually, when you hear about people who have injuries to their heads become like
Mhm.
serial killers, he became one of the best known artists of all time.
Really? People
Yes.
become serial killers when they have
Yes.
injuries
Yeah.
to their head.
There's a weird, I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying that's
Yeah.
each and every case. But what
Yeah.
happens is because depending on where you're hitting your head, if
Uh-huh.
you're hitting your frontal lobe, which tends
Yeah.
to be like when you're kids, that tends to be the thing that seems to get the most affected when you have like these head
S
injuries.
CTE or something like that?
Not so
Is it
much because
yeah, okay.
CTE is more of like your brain constantly moving around in your head,
Right.
whereas it's multiple situations or incidents, whereas this is like a one-time thing, right?
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
So, but what is similar to CTE is it can affect your personality. So there
Mm.
is rumor that certain people, certain, serial killers
Yeah.
have potentially had frontal lobe damage. I think Ted Bundy is one. Um,
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure if they ever I think they did attribute that potentially to Paul Bernardo as well. I think he did have a head injury. Um, I think, Ed Kemper, I think he was another one.
Huh.
But, um it's not to say that every person who has a head injury is going to become a serial killer, but it can still alter your personality and make you a different person, even if you're
Right.
not necessarily gonna do that.
Right.
Um, I think really, like, it could just bring some darkness out of you that, depending on what's going on in your head
Mhm, mhm,
can bring that out, but, again, I don't know where George Michael had his head injury, if it
mhm,
was frontal or
mhm.
not. But again, it's like it kind of just goes to show that there's so many different things. It's not just about like what you go through as a child through your life if you have those types of injuries. It
Right.
could also be just the whole nature versus nurture thing that, experts are trying to kind of do their research on.
Right, right.
Maybe George Michael had a very great, and it sounds like he did have a really good normal childhood.
Uh-huh,
But even
uh-huh.
with that, then maybe that helped, he not becoming a serial killer. But
Right, 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 right.
with even again, even with Bundy, he had a decent enough childhood, but because he was lied to, I think we've talked about it a little bit when we did talk about him, but I may not have mentioned this part, but he was lied to about who his mother was, who his father was, and I think because of that, plus the injury, it just, just depends on the person, I guess. But yes, it can happen.
Huh,
Um, so his early music, now we're gonna go into that. So while George was in his early teens, the family moved to Radlett. There, he began attending Bushy Med School in Bushy. Don't know if I'm saying that right. Hopefully, I am. Where he, as Yog, quote unquote, befriended his future Wham partner Andrew Ridgely. Sorry, not Wrigley. Ridgely. The two had the same ambition of being musicians.
huh.
Michael buxed on the London Underground, performing songs such as 39 by Queen.
Uh-huh,
His involvement in the music business began with his working as a DJ, playing
uh-huh,
at the Bel Air restaurant in Northwood, London, clubs and local schools around Bushy, Stanmore, and Watford. God, the names in England is so crazy. Just crazy names. Okay. This was followed by the formation of a short-lived ska band called The Executive with Ridgely's brother Paul, Andrew Lever, Jamie Gold, and David Mortimer, later known as David Austin. So
huh.
they had this group. It was a ska group. That's what it was called. And that's who was in it. But enough about that because that doesn't matter. Let's talk about
Right.
Wham. Wham matters.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
None of that. So Michael formed the duo Wham with Ridgely
Mhm,
in 1981.
mhm.
On the cusp of fame, he decided to legally change his name to the more accessible George Michael, which, good idea. The band's first album, Fantastic, reached number one in the UK in 1983 and produced a series of top 10 singles, including Young Guns, Wham Rap, Enjoy What You Do, and
Uh-huh.
Club Tropicana. This was, I think, from my memory of the documentary too that they did last year on Netflix, he they really blew up more so in England than they did outside of England. And a lot of these songs, like if you were there during that time, you might know these songs. Us over here in North America, we may not necessarily know these songs because I don't know these songs. I've never heard them. I think the only time I heard them was watching the documentary. Never heard of these songs before, but they were very popular. They were slowly but surely, but they were pretty popular at that time with these songs. Anyways, their second album, Make It Big, reached number one on the charts in the US singles. From that album included Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. And that's when it started to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Very number one in the UK and the US.
Mhm,
Freedom, Everything She Wants, and Careless Whisper, which okay. I wish I was alive at a time where Careless Whisper first came about.
mhm.
I know my mom has talked about this. Like, Careless Whisper was the thing that they played in dances at school and stuff.
Right.
But you hear that sax just in the beginning, and even though it's like it's Wham,
Uh-huh.
it's actually only him. He's the only one
Mm.
doing the singing that song. It's
So
essentially like a solo song.
so how did the song go? Like, it 'cause I
I'm
even.
never gonna dance again. Guilty feet I've got.
Oh, okay, yeah. Alright.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
such a good
yeah,
song.
yeah, yeah.
And that
That's
was kind of like if I from 'cause again, he's
Yeah.
not here to talk on it, but he did, as you know, when he was still alive.
Mhm.
And Andrew Ridgeley was on the dock, and he said, like, that was kind of the first song that they did where George was the main focus, and he was the one who was doing all of the vocals. If you watch the music video, I don't even think Andrew Ridgeley is in the video. Again, it's been a really long time since I've seen the music video,
Uh-huh.
but even if he is in the video, like, it's very short-lived. The main focus was George, and, um, yeah, it's not like Wake Me Up Before You Go Go where they're both there,
Uh-huh.
and I even though, again, George is always he's the lead, hands down, he is the lead, um, but you still have the presence of Andrew Ridgeley. Careless Whisper wasn't that, it was
Mhm.
literally just him. So it not only was just him, but it showcased his talent on his own. He stick handled that. I think he wrote most of the vocals for it too. Um, so yeah, Careless Whisper was kind of like it was his while being in a group. Um, so yeah. Anyways, one of my favorites too. Okay.
Huh.
So yeah,
Yeah.
Careless Whisper, which reached number 1 in nearly 25 countries, including the
Yeah.
UK and US, and was Michael's, as I just told you, first solo effort as a single.
Mhm.
In December 1984, the single Last Christmas was released. Again, only him. Those are his vocals. Andrew's not a part of it. It's
Yeah.
just him.
I probably know that song. I just
You most
get
likely do
that.
because you've most likely heard it, like, on
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah.
But, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's last Christmas, I gave
Mhm.
you my heart, but the
Oh,
very
okay.
next day,
Yeah.
you gave
Yeah.
it away. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
and again, because there's many renditions of that
Yeah.
song,
Yeah.
I refuse to listen to any other rendition
Uh-huh.
except for his. There is only his. I don't
Yeah.
know
This
any other version. It's
wow.
just him.
Yeah. Oh, very talented. Yeah. Three hits? And is
We're
it the
at
same?
3, and by 1984,
Uh-huh.
so it's only been about 3 years that Wham has been together.
Right.
So these are not
So
just
this so this song's not just him. The Christmas song's not just him, it's with Wham.
it's Wham, but
Oh,
it's
okay.
him as a solo. It's technically his solo.
Mm.
'Cause
Okay.
I remember Andrew Ridgeley talking about in the documentary that,
Mhm.
he kinda took a step back for George Michael to have that that spotlight on him for both Careless Whisper and this one. So, yeah. So, yeah, that was released 1985. George received the first of his 3 Ivor Novello Awards for Songwriter of the Year from the British Academy of Songwriters, Composers,
Mm,
and Authors.
mhm.
Because again, like, not only is he singing these songs, but he's writing them. He was the writer. So, he wrote Careless Whisper. I believe he wrote Last Christmas as well. I can't speak on every song. I'm not sure if he wrote every single song that he did. It's kinda like Michael Jackson. He wrote most of his music, but he didn't write all of his music. So, I don't know if, like, there was help or anything like that, but from my understanding, I believe he 100% wrote Careless Whisper and Last Christmas on his own, and look at what it became. So, both of those songs. Um, so Michael performed on the original 1984 Band Aid recording of Do They Know It's Christmas Time? Okay. Yeah, that song.
Mm.
So, he appears third on the song after Paul Young and another George that I love, Boy George.
Mhm.
Um, and they sing their lines and then it's him.
Uh-huh.
The song became the UK Christmas number 1, and Michael also donated the profits from Last Christmas and Everything
Uh-huh.
She Wants
Uh-huh.
to charity. He sang, "Don't let the sun go down on me." Okay, try not to sing. That was
Yeah,
Elton John as well.
yeah.
Um, and
I've
yeah.
never heard that song. The
Don't
song.
let the sun go
No,
down on me. No?
no,
No? I'll
no.
just search myself. Okay, I'm gonna stop.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
he sang that song,
That's yeah.
um, with Elton John at Live Aid, which if you want, it is on Spotify, y'all can listen to because I have it on my Spotify. Love it. Um, at Wembley Stadium in London on July 13th, 1985.
Mm,
He also contributed background vocals to David Cassidy's 1985 hit "The Last Kiss," never heard of
uh-huh,
it, as
uh-huh,
well as Elton John's 1985 successes "Nikita" and "Wrap Her Up." George cited Cassidy as a major career influence and interviewed Cassidy for David Litchfield's Ritz newspaper. Wham's tour of China in April 1985, the first
uh-huh,
visit to China by Western popular music art act, sorry, not artifact, generated worldwide media coverage, much of it centered on Michael. The headline in the Chicago Tribune read, quote, "East meets Wham and another great wall comes down." Before Wham's appearance in China, many kinds of music in the country were forbidden. The band's manager, Simon Napper Bell, had spent 18 months trying to convince Chinese officials to let the duo play. The audience included members of the Chinese government. Chinese television presenter Can Lejun was the on-stage host, spoke of Wham's historic performance as, quote, "No one had ever seen anything like that before. All the young people were amazed, and everybody was tapping their feet. Of course, the police weren't happy, and they were scared there would be riots." Wham performed their hits with scantily clad dancers and strobing disco lights. According to Napper Bell, Michael tried to get the crowd to clap along to Club Tropicana, but they hadn't a clue. They thought he wanted applause and politely gave it, before adding that some Chinese did eventually get the hang of clapping on the beat. A UK embassy official in China stated, quote, "There was some lively dancing, but this was almost entirely confined to younger Western members of the audience." The tour was documented by film director Lindsay Anderson and
uh-huh,
producer Martin Lewis in their film Wham in China, Foreign Skies. With the success of Michael's solo singles Careless Whisper and A Different Corner, rumors of an impending breakup of Wham intensified. The duo officially separated in 1986, so they were together 5 years. After releasing a farewell single, The Edge of Heaven, and a farewell compilation, their third album, Music from the Edge of Heaven, was released in North America and Japan. Plus a sellout concert at Wembley Stadium that included the world premiere of the China film. The Wham partnership ended officially with the commercially successful single The Edge of Heaven, which reached #1 on the UK chart in June 1986. So now Wham's done. We're
uh-huh,
entering into his solo career.
uh-huh,
So we're going to be talking about years 1987 to 1989. So
uh-huh, uh-huh.
just, the few years after Wham.
All right.
So during early 1987, at the beginning of his solo career, Michael released "I Knew You Were Waiting for Me." Try not to sing.
Uh-huh.
A duet with the late great Aretha Franklin. "I Knew You Were Waiting for Me" was a one-off project that helped Michael achieve an ambition by singing with one of his favorite artists. It scored #1 on both the UK singles chart and the US Billboard Hot 100 upon its release. For Michael, it became his third consecutive solo #1 in the UK from three releases after 1984's Careless Whisper, um, and then 1986, A Different Corner. The single was also the first Michael had recorded as a solo artist, which he had not written himself. The co-writer Simon Kilme was unknown at the time. He later had success as a performer with the band Kilme Fisher in 1988. Never heard of
Huh,
them.
huh,
Michael and Franklin won a Grammy Award in 1988 for Best R&B Performance, duo
uh-huh,
or group with vocal of the song. For the song, sorry. In 1987, Michael released his debut solo album, Faith. The first single released from the album was I Want Your Sex. Yep, that's a good one too. In mid 1987. The song was banned by many radio stations because, well, it's in the title of the
Uh,
song.
uh, uh,
So yes, it was banned from UK, some radios in UK and US due to its sexually suggestive lyrics. Oh my God. God forbid. MTV broadcast the video featuring celebrity makeup artist Kathy Zhang in a,
uh,
uh, I think bra, she was in a bra and suspenders, only during the late night hours because, wow, it's not even that crazy. It's
really?
no, I watched the video. It's like I mean, I watched it many years ago, and not to actually come to think of it, it was late night too. But it's there's nothing to it. It's just like his makeup artist, who was rumored to be his girlfriend at the time,
Mm,
was walking around looking hot. What I don't even think like anything crazy was happening in the music video.
okay.
So dumb, so dumb.
So
Anyways,
it was basically a music video that people
yeah, it's a
were just
music
like,
video, but because the lyrics are like literally saying, "I want your sex." I want your love, like, that's why it was
and this is the time during the in the 80s and
it's late '80s.
late.
So
Yeah,
back
that's
then,
probably
it's
why.
like yeah, no, I'm not questioning the
Yeah,
time and why, but it's just like, it's song's not
people about
even it's not that bad, it's not like are you kidding? If you're literally going up in arms about a song like "I Want Your Sex,"
yeah,
y'all can't handle reggae music of today, 'cause my
yeah.
god.
No,
They're not
people.
mentioning body parts or anything like that. It's not
Yeah,
disgusting by what he's saying,
well,
but
people probably thought like every artist who talked about like sexual or relationships or anything like that, who has like a girl model in the music video, probably
mhm.
thought they were like in a relationship or whatever. So like that's
Yeah,
what that was the thing back in the day. Nowadays it's just like
yeah,
people know that these are just basically a model just acting and just basically acting like the girlfriend or the wife, etc. in the
mhm.
music video. So
Yeah,
people
and the thing is like,
yeah.
I don't know where I heard that she was supposed to be his girlfriend at the time, and maybe
Yeah,
she was, like, as, like, a beard, I don't know, but
yeah,
Um, I think my mom was the one who told me that, like, "Oh, the girl in the video was actually supposed to be his girlfriend, and she was his
uh-huh,
makeup artist," which that
uh-huh,
part's true,
uh-huh,
but I don't even know, like, where that started, and my mom's not one to, like, really get into the gossip and stuff like that, but
uh-huh,
again,
uh-huh.
like, when I was told, it had already been known that he was gay, so, I don't know. I think,
So
like,
he was he gay at that time, or
he
was he
always
coming out?
knew yeah, let's be very real. He
Uh-huh,
always knew he was gay,
okay,
and that's why, like, I mentioned it, that Andrew Ridgeley, who was in the documentary last
right,
year,
right,
mentioned that George always knew he was gay. There's
okay,
no doubt about it, he knew he was gay. Whether he had acted upon it prior to coming out or that early on in his life, I don't know, but he always knew. But the thing is that the public did not. It's kind of like, Ricky Martin. He never came out, right away, but whether or not he straight up said Ricky Martin anyways, I can't speak on George Michael, but Ricky Martin full out said, he goes, "Listen, I had sex with women, I had sex with men, I did all of that," but, like, him trying to, I think, figure out who he was until he finally realized, "This is who I actually am," and he came out. For George Michael, though, I don't know. I
mhm,
don't I know he did an interview with Oprah many, many years back, like,
right,
when it first kind of happened,
uh-huh,
um, and I think when he came out with the Patience album, which was in the early aughts, I think that's when he did the interview with her. So I can't remember, though, if he ever mentioned, like, his sexual, like, conquest, if that's what you wanna say, Whether or not that involved both sexes, I don't know. Um, but yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but like, yeah, he,
Hmm.
who knows, really,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
what he was doing. But
Yeah.
anyways, doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Um, so yes, Michael argued that the act, in terms of the "I Want Your Sex" video, was beautiful if the sex was monogamous, and he recorded a brief prologue for the video in which he said, quote, "This song is not about casual sex." One of the racier scenes involved Michael writing the words "explore monogamy" on his partner's back in lipstick. Some radio stations played a toned down version of the song I Want Your Love, with the word love replacing sex because ugh, we can't talk about sex apparently. God damn. Anyways, when I Want Your Sex reached the US charts, American Top 40 host Casey Kasem refused to say the word's title, referring to it only as the new single by George Michael. Oh, come on, Casey. Come on. We'll leave him be. He's dead now. But anyways, in the US,
Yeah.
the song was also sometimes listed as I Want Your Sex from Beverly Hills Cop 2 in brackets, because I guess that's in the movie. Sure thing. Um,
Mhm.
since the song was featured on the soundtrack of the movie,
Huh.
I don't remember that. I'll tell you that right now. Um, that's not how I know the song. Let's just put it that way. Um, so despite censorship and radio play problems, I Want Your Sex reached number 2 on the US Billboard Hot 100
Mhm.
and number
Mhm.
3 in the UK. The second single, Faith, which is if I had to choose which one of his songs is my all-time favorites, it would have to be Faith. Faith is one that I as a child, I would stop everything that I was doing just so I could listen to the song. This one is always near and dear to my heart. So, yeah, Faith.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
Faith was released in October 1987, a few weeks before the album. Faith became one of the most popular songs. The song was number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 for 4 consecutive weeks, becoming the best-selling single of the 1988 in the US. It also reached number 1 in Australia and number 2 on the UK singles chart. The video provided some definitive images of the 1980s music industry in the process. Michael in shades, leather jacket, cowboy boots, and Levi jeans, playing a guitar near a classic design jukebox. Let me just say, he looked hot as hell. Like,
Mhm.
so hot in that music video. But, yeah. On October 30th, Faith was released in the UK and in several markets worldwide. Faith topped the UK albums chart, and in the US, the album had 51 non-consecutive weeks in the top 10 of Billboard 200, including 12 weeks at number 1. Faith had many successes with 4 singles, Faith, Father Figure, One More Try, and Monkey, reaching number 1 in the US.
Uh-huh.
Faith was certified diamond by the RIAA for sales of 10 million copies in the US. To date, global sales of Faith are more than 25 million units. The album was highly acclaimed by music critics, with AllMusic journalist Steve Huey describing it as a superbly crafted mainstream pop rock masterpiece and one of the finest pop albums of the 80s. In a review by Rolling Stone magazine, journalist Mark Coleman commended most of the songs on the album, which he said displays Michael's intuitive, understanding of pop music and his increasingly intelligent use of his power to communicate to an ever-growing audience.
Huh.
In 1988, Michael embarked on a world tour. In Los Angeles, Michael was joined on stage by Aretha Franklin to sing I Think We Know, I Knew What You Were Waiting. I Knew You Were Waiting for Me. Duh.
Huh.
It was the second highest grossing event of 1988, earning $17.7 million. And at that time,
Wow.
imagine how much that would be today. Anyways,
Uh,
at
oh, say that again. How much?
17.7 million in 1988.
That's slightly over, I would say just over 45 million to
Wow.
50. It's around there. It's in between those numbers. Cuz
Wow.
I was doing some research on funny enough, this morning, this is a little bit off topic. I did some research on like the original Supergirl movie, right?
Mhm.
Back in the 1984, and it did 14 million in the box
Okay.
office.
Yeah.
And I asked her what's the inflation of that in
Right.
today's money, and
Yeah.
it said 40, around there, 44, 40.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So
That's
basically
a lot.
that.
That's
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah. At the 1988 Brit Awards held at the Royal Albert Hall on February 8th, Michael received the first of his two awards for Best British Male Solo Artist.
Mhm.
Faith won the Grammy Award for Album of the Year at the 31st Grammy Awards held on February 22nd, 1989.
Mhm.
At the 1989 MTV Video Music Awards on September 6th in Los Angeles, Michael received the Video Vanguard Award. According to Michael in his film A Different Story, success did not make him happy. And he started to
Huh.
think there was something wrong in being an idol for millions of teenage girls. The whole faith process, promotion, videos, tour, awards, left him exhausted, lonely, and frustrated, and far from his friends and family. In 1990, he told his record company, Sony, that for his second album, he did not want to do promotions like the one for Faith. Listen Without Prejudice, Volume 1 was released in September 1990. The title is an indication of his desire to be taken more seriously as a songwriter. The
Mhm.
album was
Yeah.
released in Europe on September 3rd, 1990, and 1 week later in the US. It reached number 1 in the UK albums chart and peaked at number 2 on the US Billboard 200. It spent a total of 88 weeks on the UK albums chart and was certified 4 times platinum by the BPI. The album produced 5 UK singles, all of which were released within an 8-month period: Praying for Time, Waiting for That Day, Freedom, 90, Heal the Pain, and Cowboys and Angels, the latter being his only single not to chart in the UK Top 40. Michael refused to do any promotion for the album. At the 1991 Brit Awards, Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1 won the award for Best British Album. So, like, he did no promoting of this album, which, again, this album is one that, um, I mean, I know of. I know of his existence. And he didn't have to do anything and he still won an award for it. Like, let let the art do its thing without,
Mhm.
pushing
Mhm.
it, I guess.
Huh.
So, the album's first single, Praying for Time, with lyrics concerning social ills and injustice, was released in August 1990. James Hunter of Rolling Stone magazine described the song as a distraught look at the world's astounding woundedness. Michael offers the healing passage of time as the only balm for physical and emotional hunger, poverty, hypocrisy, and hatred. The song was an instant success, reaching number 1 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and number 6 in the UK. A video was released shortly thereafter, consisting of the lyrics on a dark background. Michael did not appear in this video or any subsequent videos for the album. That explains a lot because I believe there's an video for Freedom 90, and I don't recall him being in it. That
Huh.
explains that. Okay. Um, the second single from Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1, Waiting for That Day, was an acoustic heavy single released as an immediate follow-up to Praying for Time. Now for my favorite song of this album. Freedom 90 was the second of only 2 singles from Listen Without Prejudice to be supported by a music video, the other being the Michael List Praying for Time, as we just talked about. The song alludes to his struggles with his artistic identity and prophesized his efforts shortly thereafter to end his recording contract with Sony Music. As if to prove the song's sentiment, Michael refused to appear in the video, directed by David Fincher, and instead recruited supermodels Naomi Campbell, Linda Evangelista, Christy Turlington, Tatiana Patisse, and Cindy Crawford.
Huh.
top names here, to appear in and lip sync in his stead. It also featured lyrics critical of his sex symbol status.
Uh-huh.
It reached number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the US and number 28 on the UK singles chart. Mother's Pride gained significant radio play in the US during the First Parisian Gulf War during 1991, often with radio stations mixing in callers' tributes to soldiers with the music. In 1991, Michael embarked on the cover-to-cover tour in Japan, England, the US, and Brazil, where he performed at Rock in Rio. The tour was not a proper promotion for Listen Without Prejudice Volume 1. Rather, it featured Michael singing his favorite cover songs. Among his favorites was Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me,
Uh-huh.
again with Elton John. Well, he didn't perform with Elton John this time, but it's his song.
Uh,
Michael and John had performed, as I mentioned, the song together at the Live Aid concert in
uh.
1985, and
So they
again, huh?
they both work together? Both Elton John and
So, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me is a song that's originally performed solo by Elton John.
okay, right.
Um, but so if you listen to or even if you find the performance, I'm sure because I've seen the performance as well.
Mhm.
Um, it starts off with Elton John by himself on stage, playing
Right,
the piano as he does.
right.
Um, and then then George Michael. No, wait, sorry,
Mhm.
hold on, I'm wrong. George Michael is actually performing it on his own, and then John
Mm,
comes out.
I see.
I think that's how it went, if I remember correctly. But yes, it is technically an Elton John song, but George
Okay.
Michael covered it. It's a beautiful rendition between the two of them. I've heard the
Mhm,
Elton John version, like solo version, but
mhm,
it's
mhm.
not the same without George Michael. So no offense to Elton John, but
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I love
I
Elton
hear
John
you.
too. So, anyways, um, so yeah, I think they actually performed it. Yes, so they performed at the Live Aid in 1985, and then again for Michael's concert at London's Wembley Arena on March 25th,
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
1991. That's the one that's recorded. The 1991 version is one that's recorded. Where the duet was recorded, as I've just mentioned, Don't Let Sun Go Down on Me was released as a single at the end of 1991 and reached number 1 in both the UK and US. In 1991, Michael released an autobiography through Penguin Books titled Bear, co-written with Tony Parsons.
Huh,
Um, so where else would be at here? So Michael performed with Queen at the Freddie Mercury tribute concert on April 25th,
nice.
1992 at Wembley Stadium. I'm not sure if Freddie Mercury was there. So I don't think he was dead yet. But
Mm.
anyways. But
We are the champions queen, right? Or we will rock you
yes,
queen. Yeah.
that's the Queen.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay. Yeah.
There's only one Queen. Group
I'm just making
group
sure.
wise.
I'm
Yeah.
just done. I know my rock, like I know some,
Okay.
I'm not out of touch. Go ahead.
Okay. The concert was a tribute to the life of the so yes, he was gone already. So yeah, it was the tribute of the life of the late Queen
Yeah,
frontman Freddie
yeah.
Mercury with the proceeds going to AIDS research. Michael performed 39. These Are the Days of Our Lives with Lisa
Mhm.
Stansfield and Somebody to
Buddy.
Love. Oh, his version was probably so good. George Michael's version of that was probably so freaking good. Oh my gosh. Um,
Version
of
of
Somebody to Love. You know that song?
actually, I just never. I
Can
probably know the song.
anybody find me somebody to love? No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, mind you, Freddie Mercury, there's no one like him, but
Yeah.
I imagine George Michael performing that
Damn.
is a real close second.
This guy
Um,
has. Yeah. This guy has so many damn hits. Damn.
who George
He
Michael?
just didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, this is why we're talking about him.
This
We're
guy's
talking
like
about him, A, because
he's
yes, he's
yeah.
part
He's
of
a
the community, but
yeah.
B, because he is who he is. He's
Yeah.
he
I hear you.
was fantastic.
Mhm.
Um,
Uh,
anyway, so yes, he
mhm.
performed
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. Yeah. Man.
Michael's performance of "Somebody to Love" was hailed as one of the best performances of the tribute concert. What did I say? I literally
Mm.
said before I finished reading that his rendition of that song must have been absolutely incredible.
Right.
It's not an easy song to sing. So, the only like, when I think of anyone who could sing that song effortlessly, but still keep the original feel of that song, it's him.
Mhm.
So,
Mm.
well, what if I can find it?
Right.
I would love to see if I can find that. Um,
Right.
so Michael later reflected, "It was probably the proudest moment for me of my career because it was me living out a childhood fantasy, I suppose, to sing one of Freddie's songs in front of 80,000 people." Um, so during November 1994, after a long period of seclusion, Michael appeared at the first MTV Europe Music Awards show where he gave a performance of a new song, Jesus to a Child. The song was a melancholy tribute to his lover and let's see if I get this right here. Anselmo Philippa,
Oh,
I think I said that right, who had died in March of 1993. The song entered the UK singles chart at number 1 and number 7 on Billboard upon release in 1996. It was Michael's longest UK top 40 single at almost 7 minutes long. The exact identity of the song's subject and the nature of Michael's relationship with Philippa was shrouded in innuendo and speculation, as Michael had not confirmed that he was homosexual and did not do so until 1998. The video for Jesus to a Child was a picture of images recalling loss, pain, and suffering. Michael consistently dedicated the song to Philippa, who before performing it live. Um, so yeah. Ladies and
uh,
gentlemen, the Best of George Michael, 1998, was Michael's first solo greatest hits collection. I know one
uh,
of my family members has this album. I don't know who. It's either
uh-huh.
my grandpa or my mom. One of the
So
two.
did those hits include the group that he was into, or
Um,
no? Just him as a solo artist.
That's a very good question. It's been a while
Yeah.
since I've laid my eyes on that CD.
Uh-huh. I would
Um,
think him as a solo artist because it's just
um,
basically him. Because I would think that he would need to ask. I don't know if it. I don't know if when he was in the group, it was within another label, and then and then this label that he's under is probably a different label.
yeah,
Yeah.
I believe he was still with Sony at the time, and
Yeah.
I don't believe he would have been with Sony when he was with Wham.
Okay.
Um,
Right.
so I'm
Right.
not sure how that would have worked, but it
Mhm.
probably would
Mhm.
have been mainly his songs.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have included Wham, but
Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't
you know
think
what?
so because
I
that
can
would
do
have
a quick
been.
check. We can
Yeah.
do a
That
quick check here.
that would be conflict. I would think that would be conflicting. Like that would be probably like those songs under another label would probably you know.
I'm checking because again, like
Yeah.
it's been like a while since
Oh no, no. Take your time and everything. Yeah. No.
seen it,
No.
but like I can check real quick.
Yeah.
Singles. See what's
Yeah. Because like
I just want to see the
yeah. Because usually an
okay here.
artist just go
Here
ahead.
we go. I think I found them all. So yeah, it was 25 songs, I believe.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
correct. And they included Jesus to a Child, Father Figure, Careless Whisper. That's Wham. Careless Whisper is
Okay,
Wham.
so it did include. Okay, so you must
Yep.
have either had to must have either partnered with the group, or must have either bought the songs, or you must have
If
like
he
has a
potentially had
percentage.
rights over his catalog,
Yeah.
he can do what he wants.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if it's with a different label. He can do whatever he wants.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, it has
Right.
included Don't Let Sun Go Down, which again is an Elton John song.
Uh huh.
You Have Been Loved,
Obviously, yeah, he has rights to the for that song, doesn't he?
Kissing a Fool, I Can't Make You Love Me,
Uh
Heal
huh.
the Pain, A Moment, which again, I think Heal the Pain was Wham. A Moment with You,
Yeah.
Descendendo, Cowboys and
Yeah.
Angels, Praying for
Mhm.
Time, One More
Mhm.
Try, A Different Corner Outside as Fast Love, Too Funky, Freedom, Star People, I Want Your Sex has 2 parts? Oh, yeah, there is. I Want Your Sex actually does have 2 parts to it. The Strangest Thing,
Interesting.
Fantasy. Waiting for the day. I know you're waiting for me. Faith. Yeah, so it's funny because really the only song on there from Wham, or I think I said 2 was from I think 2 was from Wham, but
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
really the only one that's notable from definitely Wham
uh-huh,
is Careless Whisper, and that's one that he was solo on. So not even like Wake Me Up Before You Go Go is on this album,
uh-huh, uh-huh,
which
uh-huh.
again is definitely a greatest hit, but it's technically not a solo song. So I wonder if
Right.
that's potentially why, but I don't know.
Hmm,
So
interesting.
yeah, so that's basically it. So yeah, 29 songs. So yeah, we just went through them pretty quickly there and
Mhm,
are separated into two halves with each containing a particular theme and mood. The first CD, titled For the Heart, predominantly contains ballads. The second CD, For the Feet, consists mainly of dance tunes. It was
hmm,
released through Sony Music Entertainment as a condition of severing contractual ties with the label. So this was
mm,
the end of Sony.
okay.
People just hate Sony because if I don't recall, there was another Michael that would also have issues with Sony in a little
Hmm,
bit.
mhm,
Not quite at this point. Give it a few more years.
mhm, mhm,
Um, so yeah, Ladies and Gentlemen was a success, peaking at number one on the UK albums chart for 8 weeks. It spent over 200 weeks in the UK chart and is the 45th best-selling album ever in the UK. It is certified it is certified 7 times platinum in the UK and multi-platinum in the US. And it's Michael's most commercially successful album in his homeland, having sold more than 2.8 million copies.
mm,
As of 2013, the album had reached worldwide sales of approximately 15 million copies. The first single of the album, Outside, was a humorous song making a reference to his arrest for soliciting a policeman in a public toilet. We will get to it, I think, and if not, I will talk about it. Don't you worry. As his duet, oh, sorry, as that's the name of the song, his duet with Mary J. Blige, which I did not know he did a song with, was released as the second single in many territories around the world. Both singles reached the top 5 in the UK singles chart. Released in 1999, Songs from the Last Century is a studio album of cover tracks. The album achieved the lowest peak of his solo efforts, peaking at number 157. Yikes. On the American Billboard 200 albums chart and at number 2 in the UK albums chart. So now we're entering into the 2000s. And again,
mm,
we're focusing on the music. I will talk about the scandal because it really does tie into his coming out story.
mhm,
So, in 2000, Michael worked on the hit song Who If I Told You That? Try not to sing. I love the song so much. But with Whitney Houston. It is such a good song. I can't even tell
mm,
you. I can't even tell you how good this song is. But anyways, I'm gonna assume, Mikkel, you don't know it, but that's okay. Um, Michael co-produced on the single along with Rodney Jenkins.
mhm,
Or is it Jerkins? I swear it's Jenkins, not Jerkins. But anyways, he's a popular producer. Michael's first single from his fifth studio album, Freak, reached the top 10 in the UK. His next single was Shoot the Dog, which was released in July 2002 during the lead up to the 2003 invasion of Iraq. The video for the song showed Tony Blair as George Bush's poodle. Ah,
mm, mm,
sorry. Ah, Tony Blair, what a time. God, that guy does
wow,
actually look like a
wow,
poodle. Um, so anyways, the single's cover featured the Daily Mirror's Howdy Poodle front page from
uh-huh,
earlier in the year. Responding to criticism, Michael said, quote, I am British. I live here. I pay my taxes. And I'm very, very worried that we are now the second most dangerous country in the world thanks to our special relationship with America.
right,
Let me tell you, he's just preaching from
mm,
back then
mm,
how some
mhm,
countries feel when it comes to America. Goddamn. Anyways, if only he knew.
mhm,
It reached number 1 in Denmark and made the top 5 in most European charts. It peaked at number 12 on the UK singles chart.
Uh-huh.
When Michael's fifth album, studio album Patience, was released in 2004, it was critically acclaimed and was number one on the UK albums chart. The
Uh-huh.
album became one of the fastest selling albums in the UK, selling over 200,000 copies in the first week alone. It reached the top five on most European charts and peaked at number 12 in the US, selling
200, 200,000?
200,000 copies in a week, just the first week.
Mm.
Yeah. Um,
Mm.
and then number 12 in the US, selling over 500,000 copies to earn a gold certification from the RIAA. Amazing.
What year was this?
2004. I remember when this I actually have this album somewhere.
Um,
I have this album somewhere in my house.
for a man that has so many hits, that's that's not in my opinion, that's not really good. I'm just saying. I'm
What do
just
you
saying.
mean?
200,000. Like
200
in
no, it's 200,000 in a week alone.
hmm,
So he sold more than that. They're only talking about the fact that any artist selling
mhm,
an album like
mhm.
that in a week is rare. That's a rarity. That doesn't happen for many people. 200,000 copies of an album in a week alone is astronomical. So,
There wasn't. Oh, okay, all right. I'm not. I'm not gonna say anything, but like, okay, it's decent, I would say, but
we
for
don't
like,
know how
I'm
much
just
it
saying,
sold in total, but what I can tell
not
you,
not in total, like 200. I understand that's not in total. I mean, like 200,000 for hit for a person that has so much hits before that album. Like,
how much
I think
how
that's
much
kind
do
of.
you think an album's going to sell in a sold in a week?
Hey, I seen the
It's only
artist
7
like
days.
I seen the artist did like 600K in a week. Another artist did like a million, almost a million in a week. So I'm just saying, like, for his
Are we
stature,
talk but well, again, let's remember the time that we're
yeah,
talking because I don't know if you're
yeah,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
more recently
Uh,
versus back then. We didn't
the,
have Spotify
oh no, no,
where
no, no,
that's
no, no. We're
something
talking
that's
about
going
2003. There was artists that were doing that,
but
even from
is that
2003
something you were
2007.
focusing on in 2003? Because I sure as hell wasn't.
Yeah, there was artists that would. There was an
Who?
artist that did that. That did.
Who?
I can 50. He actually did that. He
I'm
actually did
sorry,
more.
but we're not comparing 2. They're 2 completely different
I
artists.
know, I understand that, but like at this and they're two completely different understandable. But for his stature, right? He has so many hits. Like
Oh,
you can almost like you would think you would do like at least almost at least 500,000 or eight at
okay,
best
but let me
in a
say
week.
this too, because I
Yeah.
we need to also have to think of it this way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
George Michael had gone through scandal.
Oh, okay, that's
50 Cent had not at that
oh, okay.
point in
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Um, and again, even Michael Jackson at the time, he had, well, not in 2004, but he had an album in 2001. That last album that he did not sell well. That one only sold, I think, 13 million copies in total in comparison to like
That's
Thriller,
pretty good.
which
How much did
is
that sell during the week though?
that I don't know because
That
I don't
probably
think
sold
those
like
numbers are
over.
there,
That
but I
probably sold
don't
like.
think but we're not just also talking about a weekly thing. I don't
Mhm.
know how much George Michael sold that album, like how many copies that was sold for that album at the time as a as a
Right,
whole. I
right.
don't know that. We only are going by this right now. But for for example, for Invincible, Michael Jackson's Invincible, 13 million copies in total for an album is not that's not normal for him. He was selling way beyond that,
That's
so
still pretty. That's
and
still pretty
again,
good in the standards.
but
Yeah.
that yes, it's not bad, but when you look at his past, and the albums that he was doing prior to that, it's not good. So you're also looking at that part too. Michael had also gone through scandal. His music had changed so much from the 70s, 80s, even the early 90s. So
Mhm. Yeah,
his
Michael,
fan
my
base prior wasn't really responding to this
yeah,
album. I
Michael.
love the album. I had it, but as well, I was a younger fan. I didn't grow up during a time when Thriller and Bad and Dangerous, well, I was technically
Uh-huh.
younger and Dangerous, but
Uh-huh.
I didn't experience that.
Okay.
What I will say about George Michael and this particular album, Amazing is a good song. I love
Mhm.
Amazing. That's the reason I got the album in the first place.
Mhm. Mhm.
But similar to Michael Jackson or
Mhm.
any
Mhm.
artist that has this career that spans over decades,
Mhm.
his music was different. Wasn't the same. You can't compare that with someone like 50 Cent who was new in his game at that
Mhm.
time. He's just
Yeah,
starting
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, he'd only been in the game for a few
I'm
years.
just saying I didn't know you well, I didn't know you had, like,
He has
like,
his yes, George Michael had
scandals.
Scandal at that
Okay,
time, and we're
alright.
gonna
That was
talk about it
probably okay.
still.
Yeah, okay.
Um, so I think
Okay.
unfortunately that scandal really did, you
It
know,
is, yeah,
it
okay.
hit yes, it did hit him.
Yeah, okay.
Um, and again, this like I said, they say he didn't come out, he was forced out of the closet. And that
Oh, okay.
whole
I see. I see.
situation, that the scandal he had is what pushed him out of the closet.
Okay.
And so not only did he have scandal, but here's also a man who is now coming out as gay at a
Mhm.
time where artists were not doing that.
Yeah, yeah,
So all of that needs to be taken into account.
yeah.
50 Cent,
Oh,
that's something that he wasn't going through. Neither has he ever gone through that because
yeah, yeah,
he's a
yeah, yeah.
heterosexual man
Yeah,
who
yeah, yeah,
didn't
yeah.
have scandal at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Okay,
I don't think
I
he ever
see.
had really major scandal during his career. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
Mhm.
they're 2 different people and 2 different
Okay.
experiences.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I would yeah. Okay. I just didn't know he had a scandal.
yeah, we haven't
Yeah,
gotten to it
yeah.
because I'm going in
Okay.
order here of this, but
Okay.
like I
Yep.
said, I will get to it.
Okay.
Um, okay, yeah, so, yeah, 200,000 in the first week,
Mhm.
500,000 copies in the US. Okay, so Amazing, the 3rd
Uh-huh.
single from the
Uh-huh.
album, became a #1 hit in Europe when Michael appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show on May 26th, 2004. I was one of those
Uh-huh.
people watching that episode live when it aired. Um, to promote his album, he performed Amazing along with his classic songs Father Figure and Faith.
Mhm.
On the show, Michael spoke of his arrest, and I'll talk about it here because I don't know if it's going to come up. So, um, he was arrested when he was in a public washroom, um, where he basically, I can't remember if he exposed himself to the person beside him or if he was like soliciting the person beside him to either expose himself or something like that. Something clearly was making him feel comfortable enough to do that. Again, this was the person who was also doing drugs at the time. This was in Los Angeles as well. And it turned out that the person he was soliciting was a cop, and he was obviously arrested for that, for public lewdness. That's the charge that he got. So when this came out that he had been arrested for soliciting a male cop while in a bathroom, this is kind of what pushed him into coming out of the closet and saying that he was gay. So this was in 1998. So this was only it would only be an or 1998 and 1999. It would only be a few more years, about what, 4 or 5 years when patients would come out. So everything, like when he did the interview with Oprah, I was young. I didn't remember everything about that, but I had heard about it. And when the Oprah Winfrey interview happened, you could tell the whole situation, him coming out as gay, it was still so thick in the air at the time
Yeah,
that I'm not surprised that that really affected his career moving forward. It shouldn't have, but
yeah,
we're talking about a
yeah,
time where, like, it was still a scary place for people to come out as gay.
yeah, yeah. I noticed, like, athletes at the time too. It was still a scary place for
Yeah,
them too. Like, so
yeah.
going a little bit off topic.
I still think
Uh,
it is
yeah.
scary for athletes to come out even today.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
well, no,
mhm.
the reason I say that is because of the fact of you're it's not the s
What?
I think it's
Yeah,
gone maybe easier, don't get me wrong, but
easier.
you're dealing with the fact that you're around men all the time. And though there could be people who are gonna be understanding, there are also gonna be people who are not. So I
Yes.
think, like, that's the problem. It's not so much whether the public is going to accept them, it's
Mhm,
the people around them on a day to day, whether or not they're going to accept them. So
mhm,
I still think for athletes, I still think that there's probably athletes that struggle with coming out. I think it's gotten maybe a bit more easier for, like, singers or actors and stuff
mhm,
like that because
mhm.
it's a different atmosphere
So
than people for athletes, you know?
let me ask you a question. Would you come out in which era would you come out in? In the 90s, early 2000s, or 2010s, 2020s? Which era would you feel
I'll say
like
that's a tough one for me
yeah,
because as women, we're viewed very different when
yeah,
when women come out versus
yeah,
when men
yeah,
come out.
yeah,
And we've had this conversation before.
yeah,
So I think, like, for women, I don't know if there ever is truly an era where a woman is going to feel fully safe to be authentically herself
mhm,
and not have fear of their safety or, the pushback of
yeah, yeah,
disgusting men saying disgusting comments. I don't know if there's ever truly an era. I mean, maybe now
mhm,
you have a little bit more acceptance than you would
mhm,
have
mhm,
even 10 years ago.
right,
But I don't know for women if there really truly is ever a time where they feel fully safe to do so. I think for men I think for men it's gotten a little bit better, but I can't imagine a man ever being fully, safe or feeling safe to come out as gay in the '90s especially,
mhm,
because again,
mhm,
you're also still dealing with the AIDS and HIV epidemic that
right,
we don't really deal with now even, 10 years later, it wasn't as prominent, or as scary, I guess. But, yeah, again, as a woman, I don't know if there really is ever a time where you feel fully safe to be yourself. I think the only difference maybe today versus then is you have a generation of people who are like, "This is me, I don't care what people think," and
mhm,
have that, be able to be fearless. Um, I can't say that I am a person who can always 100% be fearless. So I don't know. I don't
mm,
know. It's a
mm,
good question, but
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah, yeah,
a hard one to answer
yeah,
as a
yeah,
woman.
mhm,
So
yeah, okay,
imagine this. So on the show, Michael spoke of his arrest, the public revelation of his homosexuality, and his resumption of public performances. He allowed Oprah's crew inside his home outside London. Oh yeah, I remember that. His home was beautiful too. The fourth single taken off the album was "Flawless." It was a dance hit in Europe as well as North America, reaching number 1 on the Billboard Hot Dance Club Play and becoming Michael's last number 1 single on the US dance chart. 25 is Michael's second greatest hits album. Um, and where am I? Where did I go here? Sorry. Um, I lost my spot. Like, literally.
mm,
Yeah, so yeah, 25 is Michael's second greatest hits album, celebrating the 25th anniversary of his music career. Released in November 2006 by Sony BMG, it debuted at number 1 in the UK. In early 2010, Michael performed his first concerts in Australia since 1988. On February 20th, 2010, Michael performed his first show in Perth at the Burswood Dome to an audience of 15,000. On March 2nd, 2011, Michael announced the release of his cover version of New Order's 1987 hit True Faith in aid of the UK charity telethon Comic Relief. Michael appeared on Comic Relief itself, featuring in the first carpool karaoke sketch of James Corden. Wow. Did
Huh.
I say that he did the first one? Yeah, he did the first one. I'm gonna go find it after I'm done. I know what I'm doing later. Go find that.
First
But
one, first one.
he did the first carpool karaoke with James Corden.
Huh.
That's so cool. Yeah, I was saying it was James Corden. I know he's garbage.
Huh.
He's a garbage human being. But I really loved watching those carpool karaoke. I really did.
Huh.
I watched the one that he did with Bad Bunny, which I guess would have been one of his last ones, before the show ended. But
Uh,
I've watched him do carpool with Adele. I've watched him carpool with Ed Sheeran. I love that. So I'm gonna find this later because I'm gonna have so much fun with it. But anyways, yes, he did the first one with him, with the pair singing songs while Corden drove around London. On April 15th, 2011, Michael released a cover of Stevie Wonder's 1972 song, You and I,
uh,
as an MP3 gift to Prince William and Catherine Middleton on the occasion of their wedding on April 29th, 2011. Did you watch their wedding, Michael, by any chance?
no, I haven't
No.
watched their
I
wedding
did.
now. Mm,
I
yeah,
did.
no.
I woke
Mm,
actually, I don't know if I had to wake up early that day. I feel like it started a little bit later so that,
mhm.
like, you didn't have to wake up at, like, the crack of dawn over
Yeah.
here to watch it.
The
Um,
only the only wedding I watched, I think it was it was the Royals. I remember. I was a kid. It was the Royals. I think with Princess Diana, and it was a big one on the TV.
that's
So that
not
was the only
possible.
wedding.
You weren't even born yet.
Really?
No,
Wasn't
I'm
it
pretty sure they got married
whose
in
wedding
the
did I watch then?
maybe you watched Fergie and Prince Andrew. Or I'm sorry, Andrew, not Prince. He's not Prince no more. Andrew.
Andrew? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
know, maybe
Yes.
because because I feel like Princess Diana and Charles were married in 1984.
Okay, never mind.
When
Yeah.
did
Probably another
Prince
royal
I'm gonna
wedding
check.
because
Prince Charles marry
because
Diana.
I
Yeah,
swear
1981. That's when they got married.
uh-huh.
When did Fergie and Andrew get married? Well, not even them either. They got married in 1986.
Uh,
I
then
don't
who
know who
the
you
hell
thought.
got married? Was
You
it
know how old you were?
was it I was young. I know it was on something was on TV and someone got married and I was a
Which
royal
royal got married in, let's say,
in
the
90.
90s? Yeah, Prince Edward was the
Yeah,
youngest.
that's
He
probably
got
him.
married to Sophie Rees Jones, um, on June 19th, 1999. So that could have been it.
Yeah, that's probably the one. Yeah,
Yeah, that could have been it.
yeah,
I did not see that. But
yeah. I saw that one. Yeah.
the the only ones that I've seen, like, as it's happening, because obviously I've seen clips of Diana and Princess Di and
Yeah, yeah,
Charles,
yeah,
but um was I did see Kate Middleton and Prince William's wedding, and I saw Meghan Markle
yeah,
and
yeah.
Prince Harry's too.
I probably saw Princess Diana. That's probably why I thought it was Princess
Yeah, no,
Diana.
we've
Yeah,
all
yeah,
seen
yeah,
her
yeah,
wedding. Yeah, we've all
yeah.
seen that, but
It probably in that wedding in that 1999 wedding. I probably saw her. That's probably why I thought it was probably her.
she
And
was dead already.
was she? Oh my god,
Yeah,
I'm wrong in so many.
yeah, I'm
Was
pretty
she?
sure
Is that
she
in
died the year
1999?
prior. Uh,
Oh my god, I
let
thought
me
she was
check.
in the 2000s.
Nope.
I thought,
When did Princess Diana die? Yeah, 97. No, like nearly 2 years prior.
God, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm wrong with so many things.
Listen, it's okay.
I know I saw something when I was a kid. I know I saw a
I'm a
royal
huge,
wedding.
like, person of Princess Di information,
Yeah,
so that's why I'm like, "Nope,
yeah.
that was early. Nope, she was dead already." Like,
Okay.
I mean, not
Alright,
necessarily know the
my bad.
years, but I
My
know.
apologies. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
my
no, no, no.
apologies, yeah.
Yeah, no, and I don't even think be totally honest with you, if she was alive, I don't even know if she would've been invited to her wedding. She
Mm,
was on the outs by then,
right,
by,
right.
towards the end, so
Mhm, mhm.
anyways, we don't need to get into the history of
Yeah, yeah,
roles
yeah,
and
yeah, 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 yeah.
whether or not
Probably
certain
another
people may
probably
have
another
be
time.
involved.
Probably another time we'll
Ah,
get in that.
you wanna get into the conspiracy theories, I can do that.
Uh,
'Cause I feel what I feel, and I know what I know. Okay,
yeah, yeah,
anyways,
yeah. Anyways, go ahead. About to
so but, yeah, so he did that for their wedding, which, yes, April 29th, 2011, I was there, I watched it. Although the MP3 was released for free download, Michael appealed to those who downloaded the track to make a contribution to the Prince William and Miss Catherine Middleton Charitable Gift Fund. Having charted at number 2 upon its release in 1984, um, behind Band-Aid's Do They Know It's Christmas, which Michael also performed in, Last Christmas finally reached number 1 in the UK singles chart on New Year's Day 2021, again after his death, more than 36 years after its initial release. Why did it take so long? It's not so good, but it takes okay, anyways. Um, but Andrew Ridgely said the chart placing was a testament to his timeless appeal and charm, adding, "It is a fitting tribute to George's songwriting genius.
mhm,
He would have been immensely proud and utterly thrilled."
mm.
Period of 36 years taken to reach number 1 was a UK chart record, which would be surprised by Kate Bush with "Running Up That Hill." I'm sorry. Can I talk about this song for, like, 2 seconds?
Yeah, yeah.
"Running Up That Hill" by Kate Bush is a song that not a fucking person ever heard of until it was played on that show that everyone loves. What the hell is it called again? It might be on here. Uh, what's that stupid show called again that everyone loves on Netflix?
Um,
Uh, God,
hmm,
uh,
is it what type of show is it? Is it
it's
a
like that sci-fi horror type show. It's, like, set in the '80s or
Stranger
something.
Things?
Thank you. Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Can I say that "Running Up That Hill" is the stupidest song I have ever heard in my entire life? Like,
He made
literally.
he created that song?
No, no, no. That is not a George Michael song. It's a song, um, it's by Kate Bush. She's also
Okay.
British. But it's the stupidest song. It's the weirdest song I have ever heard in my entire life. And only because it was on that stupid show, sorry if I'm offending you, but only because it's on that stupid show that everybody watches, all of a sudden it's like the most like it's the best song that ever happened. There's a reason that it never hit any radio station up until 3 years ago.
So basically, it was like a remix cover song or something
No,
like
it's
that?
the
Or
actual song.
okay.
It's the actual song.
Uh-huh.
It came out in, I think it said 1987.
7?
Um,
But
I'm checking
so it was
again.
never like an actual single, you would say it was left on the album.
It I mean, I don't know if she had an album, but it was the song "Running Up That Hill," and
Okay.
they just played the song, like, the
So
actual original song on
so what's
Stranger Things, and it
so
completely blew up.
what does it have to be associated with, like, Michael? What it
They're talking about the fact that, the song "Last Christmas,"
Uh-huh.
the fact that it took 36 years for it to hit, like, number 2 or whatever, I think it
Yeah,
was number
yeah,
2 on the charts,
yeah.
is completely, like it's a heard of thing that happens when a song that's, like, that old hits the charts after.
Mhm.
where no, I'm not so much let me finish.
Yeah, go ahead.
One song that has never hit the charts like that before.
Okay.
Not one that's hit the charts and then falls off and then hits the charts again. That's not what they're talking about. They're talking about a song that never hit those charts and then all of a sudden they hit the charts 36 years after. That's not something that happens every day. So they said that the only time that's happened since was Running Up That Hill by
Mm,
Kate Bush, and that
mhm.
was 37 years. If
Okay.
anything, I feel like the Kate Bush song is completely just luck, because the difference with Last Christmas is I've been hearing Last Christmas since I was a child on the
Uh-huh.
radio stations, like, when they do Christmas songs or whatever,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
I've been hearing
Uh-huh.
that my whole life. I know that song.
Yeah.
Running Up That Hill, I never heard of
Right.
until they started playing it on radio stations
Right,
because
right.
it blew up on Stranger Things.
Hmm.
But the
That's
difference
hmm.
again
Yeah.
is Last Christmas is actually a good song. Running Up That Hill, I don't understand it.
I
It's the
feel like
weirdest song ever.
I feel like if a TV show plays a song over and over and over and again, usually it hits on the Billboard. It doesn't matter
I
if it's
don't
old
know
or
if
new.
it's so much played it all over and over and over again, because again, I don't watch Stranger Things, I don't know how this
I
works.
mean, like, if an intro, like, of a
No, it's
song
not
song.
like that. It's not an intro song. It's
Oh,
I don't
okay.
think it's like their theme song or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
This is a song that I think was played
In the
within
episode,
the episode.
usually that happens, like, with, like, songs in general, like, it gets popped off and it goes on the chart for some
Yeah,
reason.
but what I'm trying to get at is this is not like it's a song that people
Mhm.
did hear about or was, that's then this kinda died off. This was a song that I don't think anyone had ever heard of, and it just didn't.
Mhm.
I think maybe in England, people
Yeah.
might have known the song a bit more,
Okay.
but I don't think that was a very popular song otherwise.
Okay.
I had never heard this song before up until it started playing on the radio after it
Mm.
released on Stranger Things, because people were, because again, everything's so much at our fingertips these days, right?
Mhm.
That people hear the song, they're like, "Oh, what's this song?" And then they're streaming it on Spotify or whatever,
Mhm.
and it just completely blew up. Now, I may think the song is weird as hell, and I do,
Mhm.
and I don't think her voice is, like, that phenomenal, but the fact that her song after 37 years popped up the way it did, and now that girl is making bank, good for you. That part is awesome. Like, I don't, that's something that this didn't happen before in the same way. And I do wonder if Last Christmas was kind of the same idea where it's like, yes, it was playing on the radios. Yes, if you're like listening to the bright radio stations, you were hearing the song. But I do wonder if like it just kind of popped off in a way once streaming, like Spotify, whatever kind of came about and
Mhm.
it's more
Mhm.
accessible to people. That's all I can think of, but
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't know. But anyways, um, so yeah, that's that. I think I went backwards for a second. Hold on.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Last Christmas would become the UK Christmas number one for the first time in 2023, and it hit number one again at Christmas in 2024, making it the first song to top the Christmas chart in consecutive years and become only the third song to the top festive chart, more than once after Queen's Bohemian Rhapsody and Do They Know It's Christmas. Um, so basically, in the UK, their version of All I Want for Christmas Is You is Last Christmas, and
Mhm.
that's the world that I want to live in because
Mm.
I, if I had to choose a song that I had to listen to over and over and over again, it's gonna
Yeah.
be Last Christmas. Sorry, Mariah. But anyways,
Hmm.
Michael stated that his early fantasies were about women. So we're getting into that stuff now.
Right.
His early fantasies were about women, which quote led me to believe I was on the path to heterosexuality. But then at puberty, he started to fantasize about men,
Mhm.
which
Mhm.
he later said, quote, has something to do with my environment. Don't know what that means.
Mm.
At the age of 19, Michael told Andrew Ridgely that he was bisexual. Michael also told one of his two sisters, but he was advised not to tell his parents about his sexuality. In 1998, not long after he was outed for his sexuality, Michael said on Parkinson that he became confident he was gay when he fell in love with a man. This stance was reiterated in a 1999 interview with The Advocate, where Michael told the editor in chief, Judy Wieder, that it was, quote, falling in love with a man that ended his conflict over bisexuality. Quote, I never had a moral problem with being gay, Michael told her. I thought I had fallen in love with a woman a couple of times. Then I fell in love with a man and realized that none of those things had been love. In 2004, Michael said, I used to sleep with women quite a lot in the Wham days. So there's our answer with that,
Uh-huh.
we talked about earlier, but never felt it could develop into a relationship because I knew that emotionally I was a gay man. I didn't want to commit to them, but I was attracted to them. Then I became ashamed that I might be using them. I decided I had to stop, which I did when I began to worry about AIDS. Can you imagine? Like, you
Huh.
can't just live life and be yourself and have sex with whoever you want to. You have to
Right.
worry about this disease that everyone else is getting and dying from. Um, God. Anyways, which was becoming prevalent in Britain. Although I had always had safe sex, I didn't want to sleep with a woman without telling her I was bisexual. I felt that would be irresponsible. Basically, I didn't want to have that uncomfortable conversation that might ruin the moment, so I stopped sleeping with them. In the same interview, he added, if I wasn't with Kenny, his boyfriend at the time, I would have sex with women, no question. He said he believed that the formation of his sexuality was a nurture thing via the absence of a father who's always busy working. It meant I was exceptionally close to my mother, though he stated that there are definitely those who have a predisposition to being gay in which the environment is irrelevant. In 2007, Michael said he had hidden his sexuality because of worries over what effect it might have on his mother. 2 years later, he added, my depression at the end of Wham was because I was beginning to realize I was gay, not bisexual. During the late 1980s, Michael had a relationship with a makeup artist, Kathy Zhang. We brought her up earlier, who was regarded for a time as his artistic muse and who appeared in the I Want Your Sex video. Michael later said that she had been his only bona fide girlfriend and that she knew of his bisexuality. In 2016, Zhang reacted to Michael's death by calling him a true friend with whom she had spent some of the best time of her life. In 1991, Michael
Uh-huh.
established a relationship with Anselmo Felipe, who
Uh-huh.
was a Brazilian dress designer whom he had met at the Rock in Rio concert in January of that year.
Huh.
6 months into their relationship, Felipe discovered that he was HIV positive. Michael later said, it was terrifying news. I thought I could have the disease too. I couldn't go through it with my family because I didn't know how to share it with them. They didn't even know I was gay. In 1993, Philippa died of an AIDS-related brain hemorrhage. God, it's horrible.
Huh.
Michael's single, Jesus to a Child, is a tribute to Philippa, as we mentioned. Um, he consistently dedicated it to him before performing it live,
Right.
as is his album Older in 1996. In
Huh.
2008, speaking about the loss of Philippa, Michael said, it was a terribly depressing time. It took about 3 years to grieve. Then after that, I lost my mother. I felt almost like I was cursed. In 1996, Michael entered into a long-term relationship with Kenny Goss, a
Uh-huh.
former flight attendant, cheerleading coach, and sportswear executive from Dallas, Texas. They had a home in Dallas, a 16th century house in Goring-on-Thames, Oxfordshire, and an £8 million mansion in Highgate, North London. In late November 2005, it was reported that Michael and Goss planned to register the relationship as a civil partnership in the UK, but because of negative publicity and his upcoming tour, they postponed their plans. On
Huh.
August 22nd, 2011, the opening night of his Symphonica tour, Michael announced that he and Goss had split 2 years earlier.
Huh.
Michael's homosexuality became publicly known following his April 1998 arrest for public lewdness. In 2007, Michael said that hiding his sexuality made him feel fraudulent, and his eventual outing when he was arrested in 1998 was a subsequently deliberate act. In 2012, Michael entered a relationship with Fawaz, who I believe who he was with when he died. Um, who was a Lebanese Australian celebrity hairstylist and freelance photographer based in London. It was Fawaz who found Michael's body on Christmas morning in 2016. So now we're going to go into the legal problems that he had. So we talked about this one already, but we'll go into more detail. On April 7th, 1998, Michael was arrested for engaging in a lewd act in a public restroom of the Will Rogers Memorial Park in Beverly Hills, California. Michael was arrested by undercover policeman Marcelo Rodriguez in a sting operation. In an MTV interview, Michael stated, quote, "I got followed into the restroom and then this cop, I didn't know it was a cop, obviously, he started playing this game, which I think it's called I'll show you mine and you show me yours." Oh my God. "And then when you show me yours, I'm going to nick you." Wow. Which I hate. And I hate that cops can do that because that's kind of the same idea that we talked about with the Rachel Nickell murder and how they handled themselves in their investigation. It's a similar thing that they did to the person they thought was the guy and it wasn't him. Um, I hate that cops can do that because in a
Uh,
sense, it's like you're trapping the person into doing the quote unquote crime. I hate it. Anyways,
uh,
after pleading no contest to the charge, Michael was fined 810 US dollars and sentenced to 80 hours of community service. Soon afterwards, Michael made a video for his single Outside, which satirized the public toilet incident and featured men dressed as policemen kissing. Rodriguez claimed that this video mocked him and that Michael had slandered him in interviews. In 1999, he brought a 10 million US dollar court case in California against Michael. You stupid idiot. Let's continue. The
uh,
court dismissed the case because, yeah, but an appellate court reinstated it on December 3rd, 2002. The court then ruled that Rodriguez, as a public official, could not legally recover damages for emotional distress. Exactly, you fool. Okay. On July 20, and again, I feel like the only reason he's doing it is because, well, George Michael's gay. I don't know the bro thing, gay.
uh,
Like,
uh,
that's literally what it comes down to. On July 23rd, 2006, Michael was accused of engaging in anonymous public sex at London's Hampstead Heath. Michael said that his cruising was not a problem in his relationship with his partner, Kenny Goss. So, again, if it's consensual, who cares? Anyways, in February 2006, Michael was arrested for possession of Class C drugs, an incident that he described as my own stupid fault as usual.
uh,
He was cautioned by the police and released. In 2007, he pleaded guilty to drug impaired driving after obstructing the road at traffic lights in Cricklewood in northwest London. It was subsequently banned from driving for 2 years and sentenced to community service. On September 19th, 2008, Michael was arrested in a public convenience in the Hampstead Heath area for possession of Class A and C drugs. He was taken to the police station and cautioned for controlled substance possession. In early hours of July 4th, 2010, Michael was returning from the Gay Pride Parade when he was spotted on CCTV crashing his car into the front of a Snappy Snaps
uh,
store in Hampstead, North London, and was arrested on suspicion of being unfit to drive. On August 12th, London's Metropolitan Police said he was charged with possession of cannabis and with driving while unfit through drink or drugs. It was reported that Michael had also been taking the prescription Triclic antidepressant medication. Oh, I'm not going to try and say this. I think it's amp antriptyline. I think is how you say it.
uh,
On August 24th, he pleaded guilty at Highbury Corner Magistrates Court in London after admitting driving under the influence of drugs. On
uh,
September 14th, at the same court, Michael was sentenced to 8 weeks in prison, a fine, and a 5-year ban from driving. Michael was released from High Point Prison in Suffolk on October 11th after serving 4 weeks. In the dent in the shop wall Michael had crashed into, someone wrote the graffiti. Sorry, I couldn't
Yeah.
even finish it. Someone wrote in the smashed part of the wall, "Wham." That's funny. That guy got jokes. Anyways, we're gonna move on to his health, and then we should be done.
Yeah, yeah, no problem.
Um, Michael struggled with substance abuse for many years, as we talked about. He was arrested
Mhm,
for drug-related offenses, as we just talked about. In September 2007, on BBC Radio 4's Desert Island Discs, Michael said that his cannabis use was a problem. He wished he could smoke less of it and was constantly trying to do so. On December 5th, 2009, in an interview with The Guardian, Michael explained he had cut back on cannabis and was smoking only 7 or 8 spliffs. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of spliffs per day instead of the 25 per day he had formerly smoked. That's so bad. Michael also abused sleeping pills as well. On, um, oh, we'll set that. In 2000, Michael joined Melissa Etheridge, Garth Brooks, Queen Latifah, Pet Shop Boys, and Katie Lang to perform in Washington, D.C. as a part of Equality Rocks, a
mhm,
concert to benefit the Human Rights Campaign, an American LGBTQ rights group. In 2002, single Shoot the Dog was critical of the friendly relationship between the UK and US governments, in particular, the relationship between Tony Blair and George W. Bush, as we talked about. He's George Bush's poodle. Tony Blair there. So yeah, in 2006, Michael performed a free concert for NHS nurses in London to thank the nurses who had cared for his late mother. He told the audience, "Thank you for everything you do. Some people appreciate it. Now, if we can only get the government to do the same thing." So, following Michael's death, various charities revealed that Michael had privately supported them for many years. It was revealed that he had donated all the royalties from his 1996 #1 single, Jesus to a Child, to Childline. The charity's founder, Esther Ranson, said that Michael had given them millions over the years and was determined that no one outside the charity should know how much he gave to the nation's most vulnerable children.
mhm,
Other charities he supported included the Terrence Higgins Trust and Macmillan Cancer Support. It also emerged that he had volunteered anonymously at a homeless shelter and had asked the other volunteers to keep his work there a secret. Um, Now we're going to go into the sad part. In the early hours of Christmas Day 2016, Michael died in bed at his home in Goring-on-Thames at the age of 53. He was found by his partner, Fatty Faz. In March 2017, a senior coroner in Oxfordshire attributed Michael's death to natural causes due to dilated cardiomyopathy with myocarditis and fatty liver disease. Owing to the delay in determining the cause of death, Michael's funeral was held on March 29th, 2017. I remember that. I remember when that happened. I'm like, why did it take so long? In a private ceremony, he was buried at Highgate Cemetery in North London and on one side of his mother's grave. His sister Melanie, who died after him 3 years to the day, is buried on the other side. So, um, yeah, I think we'll just leave it
mhm.
there.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'll just do separately talk about the tributes because
Mhm, mhm,
we're gonna lay here. But so we're just gonna end off the last little bit here of the episode. So, um, kind of again just ending it off with his death and then going into the tributes. So, in the summer of 2017, a temporary informal memorial garden was created outside Michael's former home in the Grove, Highgate. The site, in a private square that Michael had owned, was tended by fans for approximately 18 months until it was cleared. In March 2019, Michael's art collection was auctioned in England for £11.3 million. The proceeds were donated to various philanthropic organizations Michael gave to while he was alive. Michael's will left most of his £97 million estate to his sisters, his father, and friends. It did not include bequests to either Foz or to his former partner, Kenny Goss. In 2021, following legal proceedings, the trustees of Michael's estate entered into a financial settlement with Goss. I don't know why he's involved. They broke up before he died. Anyways, Elton John was among those who paid tribute to Michael, emotionally addressing the audience on the Las Vegas Strip on December 28th, saying, quote, "What a singer, what a songwriter, but more than anything, as a human being, he's one of the kindest, sweetest, most generous people I've ever met." On the 59th annual Grammy Awards on February 12, 2017, this I definitely saw, Adele performed a slow version of Fast Love in tribute to Michael. On February 22nd, Coldplay lead singer Chris Martin performed A Different Corner at the 2017 Brit Awards. In June, Michael's close friend, former Spice Girls member Jerry Halliwell, released a charity song, a single, Angels in Chains, a tribute to him to raise money for Childline. In 2020, Michael was commemorated with a mural in his native borough of Brent. The artwork, which formed part of the Brent, I think it's Biennale, was commissioned to pay tribute to his contribution to the fields of music and entertainment. Artist Don Miller said it celebrates Michael as a pioneering cultural LGBTQ figure. In February 2024, the Royal Mint unveiled a collectible coin featuring Michael wearing his trademark sunglasses. And that is the end of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's George Michael again, one of my favorite artists.
Mhm.
Um, and like I'm kind of like again, I
Yeah.
talk about the fact that obviously I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan, and I have like all the CDs and the DVDs and all of that. Um, with George Michael, now I don't have all of the CDs. I have many of the songs that I love on Spotify, but he's the only other singer whose DVD or DVDs that I have, um, because, like, that's how much I love him. And
Mhm.
when he died, I mean, again, like I said, 2016 was a rough year for celebrity deaths, but, um, his hit hard too. That's like I said, that's one where, him, Prince, Michael were the ones that, I remember what I was doing when it was announced. So, but
Yep.
anyway,
Yep. Alright.
that is
Yep.
George Michael.
Okay. Alright.
Yeah, actually,
Alright.
what would almost be the 10th anniversary of his death later this year. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, I didn't plan that, by the way,
Rest in
but
peace.
yes.
Rest in peace. Okay. So, thank you, Tanika, for all 9 episodes of, our Pride Month, uh, special. Hope you guys enjoy all 9 of them. Um, so, uh, just, take a listen and, yeah, that's pretty much it. We'll be back to normal, uh, scheduling
Yeah,
with our future episodes. So, like, basically, yeah, yeah.
next week, we'll be back to fully normal, um,
Mm,
as we'll still
mm,
have, another one topic this week, but
mhm,
obviously,
mhm,
we're done
mhm,
with Pride.
mhm.
the Prime
Mhm,
Month series.
mhm.
So, but yes, next week we'll be going back to our regular short scheduling um, that we're all used to. But yes,
Okay. Alright. Peace, guys.
bye. If you liked what you heard with our podcast, you can head on over to our website, which is solo.to/next take podcast. There you can get any of the links to any of our social media, which is Facebook, Instagram at Next Take Podcast, and Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Next Take Pod. You can also find links to our Reddit page and many other things, I'm sure. Can't remember all off the top of my head. You can also email us at mikeltanika@gmail.com. There you can send us any inquiries you have, any questions, or also any episode ideas. And if you do have episode ideas, just make sure you put in the subject line episode ideas, and we'll add it to our list. If you also liked us, you can like us, rate us, follow us on any of your favorite podcast apps. You can rate us, however, on Spotify and Apple Podcast. We would greatly appreciate that. And we'll also move forward and share or spot a light on those who give us 5-star ratings in the future. That is it for us. We'll see you next time for the episode.